Does anyone have a question they would like to ask?
I'll ask you something, Stuart. Can you talk about the connection between, on one hand, really getting to a deep level of acceptance with all that is, and on the other hand, being very focused on transforming ourselves?
Well, I mean, these two things are not in opposition to each other. I mean, as you transform yourself inside, and by that I mean something I speak about, development of a chakra system, building that consciousness within yourself. The world around you suddenly becomes, much clearer. You begin to see what is real, what is an illusion in life, how to use both reality and Maya as an opportunities to grow in your life, how not to get sucked into the illusions in life. And rejection is not a way of not being sucked in. You understand? It has to be through a strength inside yourself, which really gives you the capacity to detach yourself. And detaching yourself doesn't mean you stop living in the world. It means you live in the world. It's like in the Bible, you give to Caesar what is Caesar's and you give to God what is God's. But when you give to Caesar, you do it with gratitude, with love, and instead of being angry and upset that Caesar requires a lot of insanity, that is difficult for us to deal with. So these things are not in opposition to each other. The deeper you go into yourself, the clearer the world is going to be. Even all the insanity, the politics and the economics of the world, and you begin to recognize exactly what these things are. You begin to learn how to use what you have to use in order to live your life every day. And at the same time, you're not attached to anything. You don't have this gnawing thing in yourself, that's going to fix the world. The only way to fix this world, and honestly, I truly, profoundly believe this, is people have to fix themselves. And as long as there's one person on the earth thinking, there's going to be wars on the earth. So, God has given us an agenda here, there's reincarnation, you need thousands of lifetimes to get your act together. You got them. If you want to keep coming back here and going through this merry-go-round of suffering and pain and difficulty, it's provided until people learn how to transform it, learn how to use it, and learn how to get free of it. So these things are not in opposition to each other, because the stronger, the clearer you are inside yourself, the more deeply you're connected to higher energy in the universe. Your capacity to see what goes on in the world and how to function in this world in a conscious way just gets better and better and better. And the ultimate ability to function in this world is compassion, love, which starts in one place. It starts with liking ourselves, loving ourselves. We are worthy of having a wonderful life. That's spiritually, that's materially, in every way. We are wonderful of having, we are worthy of having wonderful lives. All of that comes when the chakra system develops, the heart opens, and we begin to literally see a different world around us. And I think, to me, it's wonderful, because then we can enjoy life. Life doesn't have to be such a pain in the neck. We can enjoy the world we live in. We can be successful in the world. We don't have to cringe, regarding money and all this stuff, We know how it's just energy. Everything is energy. And we have built a system inside that makes us capable of seeing what we have to do to live wonderful lives without, stepping over other people. And, again, I'll say it, it's material, it's the material world, it's the spiritual world, it's the emotional world, whatever aspects of ourselves, once we develop that chakra system, you understand we're not swamped by negative emotions. We can transform them into love, into compassion, into kindness, into being a good human being. We can build a system inside where the negative things in the world are not going to really do damage to us. But that is all dependent on us. You understand, the universe is up there waiting to give us all this stuff. They're waiting for us to build a system that can receive it. And that's the pact, the covenant between a human being and God. We're here to learn how to do that, to build an inner life that's big enough and strong enough to receive the teachings of higher energy in the universe. And then it really filters down to everything we do. As I say, material things and spiritual, and there's no separation in any of it. It's all one. Rudios used to say to me, it's not to have in life, it's to have and be free of it. I remember I was standing next to him. One of his buildings was burning. Fire department was there, ladders, and hoses, and everything they do. And he looked at me and said, Stuart, I must really be growing in my life. I don't feel 1 ounce of sadness that this is going on. I said, wow, here I am watching a fire of one of his buildings. I'm getting this kind of teaching from him. So it's not to have, it's to have life and the abundance of life, but not to be trapped in it. Not to, be so greedy in yourself that you can't live without, $16 billion at the expense of turning people into slaves, into, what they do, these guys, Does anybody else have a question they would like to ask?
Thank you.
You're welcome, Wendy. It's a very good question. Thank you.
I have a question. Where's the line between self-confidence and ego?
Ego will take you right to the grave. I wouldn't call it self-confidence, but just your worthiness to truly have a successful life. You understand? That depends upon how deeply you have built a connection with higher energy in the universe. Ego is simply a product of the mind and, charisma and personality, and it's all stuff of the earth. It goes right to the grave. But having self-worth, can't have real self-worth unless you're somehow connected to higher energy. The heart has to be open because that self-worth has to manifest as love, as compassion. And if it manifests as love and compassion and kindness and forgiveness and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, you understand? We truly are working out our karma in the world. We have learned how to live on the earth and be happy people. And that doesn't deny us success, doesn't deny us material things, money, nice houses, nice places to live. And it denies us none of that. It's just, it doesn't have us. We're able to communicate with life because our heart is open, not because we want to extract out of life every single piece of material possession we can possibly extract out of life. But it also doesn't mean we can't live wonderful lives, have nice places to live. Money can provide that. Life can provide that. So it's truly, as I said, this agreement we all make with higher energy to build an inner life that is strong enough so that our lives can be guided by higher energy in the universe. In order to do that, you have to be balanced inside, the heart has to be open, there has to be ananda, there has to be love, bliss inside oneself, the joy of living in the world, the willingness to never treat other people like they're your slaves. Working out of karma. We're here to learn how to work out our karma. That's why we're born here. Why the hell else would we come to a place like this? There's something we have to learn. And what do we have to learn? How to transform suffering into joy and love.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Soren, I'm working on those poems. I will, as soon as I get ready, I will get you some. No problem.
I would love that. Yeah.
Me too. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Now, you can't ever belittle yourself because you don't do what I'm talking about in this moment. You understand? It's patience, it's time, it's the work that eventually one's life evolves into this. So don't beat yourself up or get angry at yourself. Just say, okay, I have work to do in myself. I can get there, but I need to do the work. I need to have that contract with God that I will do the work here to build me so that ultimately I can surrender me. Building me means I become less and less inside, nothing, so that spiritual energy can guide my life. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I just have one announcement. I've been talking about this. I think as of around the 15th of November, I will be teaching in-person classes here. People have asked me about them, and generally I do it every day, except I think, except for maybe Thursdays and Sundays, because today I have 2 classes to teach. Thursday I teach 2 classes. and it just would get a little bit of too much, you know. But every other day of the week, and then often, you know, on Fridays and Saturdays, I have 2 classes in a day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. If you want to come, I told you, everybody's welcome. I don't want to get back to vaxxing and anti-vaxxing and all this stuff. I don't, you know, as I said before, I respect people's choices they make with their lives, you know, and people have to respect the choices I make also.
Stuart?
Yes.
You said November?
I said what?
November?
No, no, March.
March.
From the middle of March, I think this will start. I'm going to take a week's vacation before I can lie in the sun. Maybe my cough will go away. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask?
Hey, Stuart.
Yes.
This is about the in-person class. So I was wondering what I need to do to get prepared for the in-person class.
As long as you're doing it, just keep working on yourself. There's nothing out of the ordinary you have to do other than what you're doing. Taking your inner work a day at a time, a step at a time, and bringing a willingness to learn, a willingness to grow. And that's all. That's it. Nothing more than that. I mean it. You don't have to wear special clothing. You don't have to eat a special diet. You know, you don't have to do anything but continue to develop your chakra system. That's it.
Thank
and
you.
Come open to learn. Now, I really also ask that, come open to learn. And that's not only for you, it's for everybody. Come open to learn. I'm not here to argue theology with people or whether God exists and doesn't exist. I frankly don't give a damn. You know, I'm not terribly religious. You know, I discovered years ago in my own life, I don't need all the rules and regulations in order to recognize that God exists all around me. So just bring an open heart, bring a willingness to learn, come in as deep a state of surrender as you can possibly come. And all the rest of it, it'll just get taken care of while you're here, you know? Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? And just remember that this is basically a step at a time. The worst thing you can do to yourself is think you have to be perfect. That's a way of crippling yourself because nobody's ever going to be perfect. I mean, Rudy used to say you could sit in heaven and find 50 things you don't like about the place. You know, and it's true. There's no perfection. God is perfect, and God is all-inclusive of everything that it manifests anywhere in the universe. And we are all here to learn how to grow, to learn how to build an inner life that gets us closer and closer to that perfection, without ever for a moment thinking that we have become perfect. The only thing that's perfect in the universe is God. All the rest of us are just trying to work on ourselves to get closer to that, and shouldn't belittle ourselves because we find imperfections. Imperfections are part of the soup. It's just another ingredient in the cosmic soup, imperfection. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, then there'll be a class tomorrow evening. Once again, you know, I'm deeply grateful to be here with all of you and grateful to every single one of you, because your being here really forces me to work deeply on me. And I need that in my life, you know, to overcome my imperfections and to try to reach a higher place in myself that can transmit teachings that can touch everybody sitting here. So thank you and bless you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening and God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you, Stuart.
Thanks.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.